If you're pregnant right now, scrolling at 2 a.m. after another appointment left you feeling anxious, or maybe your child's already here, struggling with colic, reflux, sleep issues, or sensory challenges, this video is going to change everything you thought you knew about where these problems actually start. Here's what most parents never hear. The modern American pregnancy experience, with its constant monitoring and testing and fear-based messaging, creates chronic stress that doesn't just affect you, it directly programs your baby's developing nervous system. And this isn't about guilt. This is about understanding what happens so you can understand what your child actually needs. So this video is for moms who feel stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed during pregnancy and now wondering if it's affecting their baby. It's for parents whose children struggle with colic and reflux and sleep and sensory issues or developmental delays, and who sense that something deeper is going on that nobody else is addressing. So in this video, we're going to talk about a lot of things. We're going to start with why the modern pregnancy experience creates chronic nervous system stress. We're going to look at how your stress signals cross the placenta and shape your baby's brain development, and look at a little bit of research that shows about babies being born to stressed mothers and why those challenges usually don't get better with time. They usually just progress to different labels. And then we'll see how the path forward can be beneficial through neurologically focused chiropractic care. And that's what we wanted to start off with. There's a lot of things that kind of put this in perspective. Our great grandmothers probably had 4 or 5 maybe prenatal appointments during their entire pregnancy. No routine ultrasounds, no genetic testing, no glucose challenges. Today, we have at least 12 to 15 routine appointments, multiple ultrasounds, various blood draws, glucose tolerance tests, non-stress tests if you're labeled high risk, constant monitoring that sends a clear message that something could be wrong at any moment. And in a 2017 study published in the Development and Psychopathology tracked mothers and children from pregnancy through the age of 6. Now, what did those findings show? It showed that babies born to mothers with high prenatal stress showed nervous systems that were 22% more reactive at 6 months old. These babies showed 8% lower self-regulation capacity and a greater risk for anxiety, depression, and behavioral problems as they grew older. Now, 22% more reactive before they even left the womb. And that's why we get into the biology of maternal stress. When you experience stress during pregnancy, it's not just emotional, it's biological. Our HPA axis responds to stress by releasing cortisol. Now, short bursts of cortisol are extremely normal. Chronic elevation of this from constant appointments and test results, and we need to watch this messaging, is the problem. The placenta has a protective enzyme that converts active cortisol into inactive cortisone before it reaches the baby. But when chronic stress overwhelms that protection, active cortisol crosses the placenta and reaches your baby's developing brain. Now, your baby's baseline normal is being programmed based on your nervous system state. And that's why we get into the umbilical cord and how it's more than just nutrient delivery. If we think of that umbilical cord as an electrical power cord, not just a feeding tube, where it carries the signals from your nervous system directly to your baby's developing nervous system. So that means when your nervous system gets stuck in fight or flight mode, those signals can transmit to baby, and baby's brain structures form in a stress-adapted pattern. The amygdala, the fear center, develops larger, becomes more reactive. The vagus nerve forms with low tone, affecting regulation of the heart, the lungs, the digestion, the emotions. And that's not genetics, that's nervous system programming during the most critical developmental window. And so what gets programmed into the baby's brain? Prenatal stress affects specific brain structures that control everything from emotional regulation to learning. Babies startle easily and struggle to calm down because the amygdala is overreactive. Learning and emotional regulation suffer because the hippocampus shows reduced volume, and controlling emotion responses becomes harder due to altered prefrontal cortex connectivity. Now, the vagus nerve, responsible for calming the entire body, develops with low tone. Neurotransmitter systems for serotonin and dopamine establish stress-reactive patterns. The baby enters the world with all this stress already stuck and creates that sympathetic fight or flight dominance. And that's the progression pattern that we typically see. Same neurology, different labels. And that's what nobody ever talks about. Nobody ever tells you that these signs don't improve with over time. They evolve. The same nervous system dysregulation that causes colic at 2 months becomes constipation at 6 months. It becomes sensory sensitivities that show up to 18 months. We see ADHD typically get diagnosed around age 5 when there's clear signs of other issues in the same areas even before that. Anxiety turns into at age 10. The neurology doesn't change. The medical system just gives it a new name and a new diagnosis as your child grows. And so they don't necessarily grow out of it. They grow into something else unless that nervous system is addressed. And that is the path forward, addressing the foundation. If we address the foundation of your child's nervous system that's stuck in that fight or flight mode from the prenatal programming, their body physically cannot digest properly, sleep deeply, regulate emotions, fight infections effectively, and can't calm down after being upset. You can do all the dietary changes, the supplements, the behavioral therapy, sleep training, occupational therapy, and all these can help. But if the foundational nervous system dysfunction isn't addressed first, we're building upon a cracked foundation. And that's why neurologically focused chiropractic care addresses subluxation created by prenatal stress. And we do insight scans that show exactly where that sympathetic dominance exists and how suppressed that parasympathetic system is. The adjustments are incredibly gentle, no more pressure than checking a tomato for ripeness. And once we remove that interference and restore neurological function, the body's healing capacity emerges. So whether you're still pregnant or want to support your baby's nervous system development, or your child's already here and showing signs of dysregulation, the path forward is the same. Address the nervous system first at its foundation. The perfect storm usually starts before birth, but understanding what really happened is the first step toward giving your child what their nervous system actually needs. So click the link in our bio, direct message us, or schedule directly with our office here in Olathe, Kansas, and our team would love to help you understand what's really going on and what you can do about it. We don't need any more labels. We just need answers with the nervous system.